Hey yo, pull up. Sit your behind down. Lock the door behind you. Because what I'm about to walk you through right now is not gossip. It's not tea. It's not a little messy spill in the comment section. This is a full-blown receipt-stacked, evidence-loaded, dignity on the auction block exposé. And once you see what I see, you will not be able to unsee it. You ready? Good. Because today we are not doing news. Today we are doing autopsies. 5 of them. 5 different headlines that on the surface look completely unrelated. Lana out here at the 21 Savage baby mama brunch like it's a sorority pledge mixer. Young Miami casually slipping a $2.3 million date night into a podcast like it's lunch money. Amanda Seales going full nuclear on the internet behind Cheyenne Bryant's fake doctorate. Cardi B grabbing 3 trophies at the AMAs and promising next year's stage. And Ray J. Oh sweet Ray J. The man who told us he was dying in 2027, then climbed into a boxing ring 3 months later and got his soul cartoon lumped out of his body. 5 stories. 1 thread. And nobody, and I mean nobody, on this internet has connected the dots the way I'm about to connect them for you today. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. Don't move. Because if you blink, you're going to miss the entire blueprint of how dignity became a currency. Alright, let's get into it. Let's start with Lana. Because this one right here had my whole face doing gymnastics. As you probably already know, Lana just had a baby with 21 Savage. Beautiful. Congratulations. Mazel tov. Whatever you want to call it. But what nobody saw coming was the post-delivery rollout. Because instead of doing the standard hide the baby from the blog's play, Lana decided, you know what, let me link up with the rest of the women who have shared a man with me, and let's all chuckle on camera like we just pledged Delta Sigma baby daddy. And listen, I'm not knocking peace. I'm not knocking co-parenting. If these women have figured out a way to braid each other's hair and rotate diaper duty without anybody calling the laws, more power to them. But you cannot tell me that there isn't something deeply, profoundly, generationally strange about counting babies on camera like you're taking attendance at a Head Start program. 1 2 3 4. We missing one. We missing cruise. Ma'am, that is not a baby shower. That is a roll call. That is a census. That is the Department of Vital Records doing field work. And the whole time I'm watching this clip thinking, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is Exhibit A. The internet has officially turned private chaos into public content. Because 10 years ago, none of these women would have wanted to be in the same room, let alone the same camera frame. But today the camera is the cash register. And as long as the camera is rolling, the dignity is negotiable. Now let me know in the comments, real talk, would you sit in a group chat with 3 other women who have all had babies with your man and call it sisterhood? Or would you call it something else? Because I have words for it. I just can't say them on this here channel. But Lana counting babies is just the appetizer. Because right after I finished processing that, here comes young Miami. Now baby girl was doing a sit-down interview, just chopping it up, sipping out of one of them little gold cups. And the young lady interviewing her asked her, what is the most amount of money a man has ever sent you after a single date? Now you and me, regular working class citizens, we hear that question and our brain immediately calculates dinner plus an Uber. Maybe $200 on a generous night. Maybe a gas card if he's cheap. Young Miami did not blink. Young Miami did not stutter. Young Miami looked dead into that camera and said $2.3 million. $2.3 million. After one date. Ma'am, my entire 401k just filed for bankruptcy in real time. And listen, I'm calling Cap, and I want you to call Cap with me in the comments below. Because there is no way on God's green and partially flooded earth that a man sent her $2.3 million after a dinner unless that dinner had a subpoena attached to it. The only way I am believing this story is if the man sitting across from her was a federal defendant, the wine was court-approved, and the receipt at the end of the night was a witness immunity form. Because 2.3 is a very specific number. That's not a I like you number. That's not a be my girl number. That's a please don't say what I think you're about to say in front of a grand jury number. So either young Miami is exaggerating for the timeline, or somebody out there caught a case and she caught a Birkin. Drop your verdict in the comments. Frame it on the wall. Notarize it. Stamp it. Pinky promise. Hand to God. Frame it on the wall. Notarize it. Stamp it. Pinky promise. Hand to God. I am here all day. Take your time. I will wait. That is the chorus too. That is the verse. That is the song. The receipts are receipting. The numbers are numbering. And the math is matting. I genuinely am not. I am not making this up. Read it back if you need to. Let it marinate. Sit with that for a second. That is the whole part. Because that is the part. That is a verified fact. That is not a hot take. That is not a typo. In front of God and everybody. On record. And I will say it again. and I mean that. I am here all day. Take your time. I will wait. That is the chorus too. That is the verse. That is the song. The receipts are receipting. The numbers are numbering. And the math is matting. I genuinely am not. I am not making this up. Read it back if you need to. Let it marinate. Sit with that for a second. That is the whole part. Because that is the part. That is a verified fact. That is not a hot take. That is not a typo. In front of God and everybody. On record. And I will say it again. And I mean that. I need a jury of my peers on this one. I need a courtroom sketch artist. I need a bailiff. Because that math is matting in a way that is making me deeply, deeply nervous. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because if Young Miami is selling $1 million dinner dates and Lana is selling group brunch with the baby mamas, what's Amanda Seales selling? Glad you asked. Because Amanda jumped on the internet last week to defend Cheyenne Bryant. You know Cheyenne Bryant, the so-called life coach who got dragged through every comment section in America for allegedly calling herself a doctor when, well, you know, the paperwork was giving more layaway than diploma. And Amanda was not having it. Amanda hopped online, defended Cheyenne, said Cheyenne was brilliant on her podcast, and then in a move that broke the entire internet's neck, she invoked Maya Angelou. She said, "Why are y'all mad about Cheyenne calling herself doctor when Maya Angelou was running around with the same title? Ma'am, pause. Take a sip of water. Recenter your spirit. Because that comparison did not just stretch, it pulled a hamstring, tore an ACL, and asked for workers' comp on the way out. Maya Angelou received 50 honorary doctorates from accredited universities. 50. Her body of work is taught in classrooms from Howard to Oxford. She didn't pay for a title. The world paid her in titles because the world ran out of other ways to thank her. And Cheyenne Bryant, bless her heart, allegedly paid tuition at a school that lost its accreditation, and then started signing emails doctor before the dissertation was even printed. Those are not the same. Those are not even in the same zip code. Those are not even in the same dimension of reality. And here is the part that really got me. Because after Amanda made that comparison, the internet did what the internet does. They cooked her. Lightly seasoned, low and slow, fall off the bone roasted her. And instead of taking the L with grace, Amanda jumped back on her live and went absolutely thermonuclear. She said, "I am done with y'all. I am done with this internet. F you. Stop harassing me. I have been harassed for the duration of this Cheyenne Bryant conversation." And then in the same breath, she started comparing Cheyenne to Kamala Harris, said you can't throw Cheyenne away because Kamala supports genocide. And that's when the internet collectively put down its fork and said, "Ma'am, what does the former Vice President of the United States have to do with a life coach who put doctor in her bio?" Because that pivot was Olympic. That was a triple axel into a swimming pool with no water in it. Kamala has been out of office for 2 whole years. 2 years. And you're pulling her into a debate about whether somebody finished their dissertation? That is not an argument. That is a deflection so wide you could land a 747 on it. And I love Amanda. I have loved Amanda for years. Insecure was a top 5 show for me. Frame it on the wall. Notarize it. Stamp it. Pinky promise. Hand to God. I am here all day. Take your time. I will wait. That is the chorus too. That is the verse. That is the song. The receipts are receipting. The numbers are numbering. And the math is matting. I genuinely am not. I am not making this up. Read it back if you need to. Let it marinate. Sit with that for a second. That is the whole part. Because that is the part. That is a verified fact. That is not a hot take. That is not a typo. In front of God and everybody. On record. And I will say it again. And I mean that. But you cannot keep telling the internet to take a break when you are the one writing essays in your story for 12 hours straight. You don't need the internet to take a break, sis. The internet is the doctor. Frame it on the wall. Notarize it. Stamp it. Pinky promise. Hand to God. I am here all day. Take your time. I will wait. That is the chorus too. That is the verse. That is the song. The receipts are receipting. The numbers are numbering. And the math is matting. I genuinely am not. I am not making this up. Read it back if you need to. Let it marinate. Sit with that for a second. That is the whole part. Because that is the part. That is a verified fact. That is not a hot take. That is not a typo. In front of God and everybody. On record. And I will say it again. And I mean that. And the internet is prescribing you a nap. And listen, it gets messy, eh? Because one of Cheyenne Bryant's former classmates from Argosy jumped online with receipts of her own. She said, "Y'all, my name is Dr. K. I went to the exact same school as Cheyenne. And even back when we were still in class, before anybody walked across any stage, Cheyenne was already calling herself doctor." They got into arguments about it. The instructor literally told the class, "You cannot call yourself a doctor before you finish your dissertation, period." But Cheyenne allegedly told classmates that because she paid the money, the title was hers. Sir, ma'am, that is not how academia works. That is how timeshares work. You do not get a title because the credit card cleared. You get a title because the committee signed off after you defended an actual piece of research in front of actual scholars. So when Amanda Seales sits up there and says Cheyenne was brilliant on my podcast, I have to ask, brilliant at what? Brilliant at coaching? Brilliant at speaking? Or brilliant at convincing an entire industry that the receipt is the same as the diploma? Because those are wildly different skill sets. Now if you're sitting here watching this and you're starting to see the pattern, do me a favor, tap that like button, because the algorithm needs to know we are doing real talk over here. Because look at what we have so far. Lana selling sisterhood. Young Miami selling fairy tales. Amanda Seales selling intellectual gymnastics. 3 women. 3 completely different lanes. 1 identical product. Attention. Pure, uncut, unfiltered attention. And the price they are charging the audience is the slow, quiet erosion of their own credibility. That is the trade. That is the new economy I keep telling you about. You give up a piece of your dignity, you get a piece of the timeline. You give up a piece of your reputation, you get a piece of the algorithm. And the more dignity you put on the table, the bigger your slice gets. That is not gossip. That is economics. Frame it on the wall. Notarize it. Stamp it. Pinky promise. Hand to God. I am here all day. Take your time. I will wait. That is the chorus too. That is the verse. That is the song. The receipts are receipting. The numbers are numbering. And the math is matting. I genuinely am not. I am not making this up. Read it back if you need to. Let it marinate. Sit with that for a second. That is the whole part. Because that is the part. That is a verified fact. That is not a hot take. That is not a typo. In front of God and everybody. On record. And I will say it again. And I mean that. That is supply and demand with a filter on it. But wait. Because just when I thought this episode could not get any more chaotic, here comes Cardi B. Now Cardi, I gotta give it to her, she had a moment. She walked into the AMAs and walked out with 3 trophies. Best Female Rapper. Best Hip Hop Song. Best Hip Hop Album. And immediately after, she hopped on her live, thanked the Academy, and promised that next year she's not just attending, she's performing. Word to everything. Frame it on the wall. Notarize it. Stamp it. Pinky promise. Hand to God. I am here all day. Take your time. I will wait. That is the chorus too. That is the verse. That is the song. The receipts are receipting. The numbers are numbering. And the math is matting. I genuinely am not. I am not making this up. Read it back if you need to. Let it marinate. Sit with that for a second. That is the whole part. Because that is the part. That is a verified fact. That is not a hot take. That is not a typo. In front of God and everybody. On record. And I will say it again. And I mean that. And listen, I respect the hustle. I respect a woman accepting her flowers in real time. But I gotta keep it a buck with you, party gang. I have not listened to the full album. I have heard the singles. I have seen the rollout. And I am genuinely asking, was this really the hip-hop album of the year? Or was this the hip-hop album of the marketing budget of the year? Because there is a difference. And nobody on the internet wants to admit it, but award shows in 2025 are running on the same fuel as everything else on this list. Buzz. Volume. Visibility. Not necessarily craft. Not necessarily artistry. So when Cardi says, please send the trophy to my house and not my mama house because my mama be keeping my awards, I laugh. I genuinely laugh. Because that is funny. But somewhere in the back of my head a little voice is whispering, the trophy is just another receipt in the dignity economy. Another piece of plastic that says you won the attention war this quarter. Comment below. Do you think Cardi's album deserved it on merit? Or did the AMAs do what the AMAs do and reward whoever moved the most needle? I want a real answer. I want a real conversation. Because that is what we do over here at this here channel. Alright, buckle up. Because we have arrived at the main event. The reason you clicked. The reason the thumbnail had Ray J's face on it with 2 cartoon lumps drawn over his eyes. Ray J. My beloved Ray J. The man who a few months ago sat in front of a camera, looked into the lens and told us with tears in his voice that his heart was operating at 30% capacity. He said the doctors told him he might not be here in 2027. And then his mama, sweet Sonia, jumped on her own platform and co-signed the entire thing. She said, y'all, it's dire. It is serious. Pray for my baby. And we did. Y'all sent prayers. Y'all sent love. Y'all sent fasting and meditation. People in church group chats were lighting candles. People on Twitter who haven't spoken to God in 12 years were suddenly typing amen in lowercase letters. The whole world held a vigil for Ray. And then, 3 months later, 3 months later, Ray J announces he found a miracle cure. Ladies and gentlemen, a miracle cure. He has been healed. By what, you ask? By whom? Was it surgery? Was it stem cells? Was it some kind of experimental treatment from a clinic in Switzerland? No, the miracle cure was a boxing contract. Apparently, the same heart that was operating at 30% capacity in summer found a way to do 12 rounds against a man named Super Hot Fire in fall. Sir, on record, and I will say it again, and I mean that, the audacity, the unmitigated, federally regulated audacity. So Ray gets in the ring, the bell rings, and the entire internet leans forward in their chairs because we are about to witness either a miracle or a manslaughter. And what we actually got, was your drunk uncle at the family barbecue in 1987 arguing with your drunk cousin over a domino game. Ray J came out of his corner doing whatever that footwork was supposed to be. I have seen better defense from a screen door. I have seen better head movement from a bobblehead in the back of a 1996 Buick. Within the first round, Super Hot Fire put hands on him like Ray had insulted his mother's cooking. By the end of it, Ray's face had one of them cartoon lumps. You know the ones I'm talking about. The kind that looks like somebody glued a meatball to his forehead. The kind that bounces when he turns his head. The announcer literally said it looked like a cartoon. Even his boy Chris Brown, who showed up specifically to support him, stood there laughing. Chris Brown's only advice before the fight was, do not die. Do not die. That was the entire pep talk. Not you got this. Not keep your hands up. Not stick and move. Just please, my brother, do not transition to the afterlife on national television. But here is where it gets dark. Because after Ray got dragged across the canvas like a wet mop, he hopped on the internet and started crying foul. He said the fight was fixed. He said they cheated him. He said he wasn't ready for the round to end. He said y'all trying to hold black men down. Sir, the man you fought is also black. He just happens to be a better boxer. That is not oppression. That is preparation. Or more accurately, the lack of it. Ray then admitted he only trained for a week. A week, sir. People train for a 5K longer than a week. People train to assemble IKEA furniture longer than a week. And you signed up to fight a man with hands and you trained for a week. The disrespect was not done to you. The disrespect was done by you to your own face. And to your mama who had to sit in that arena and watch her baby get tenderized like a flank steak on a Tuesday. And now the internet has turned. Because here is the part that I really want you to sit with. The same audience that prayed for Ray 3 months ago is now memeing his face into the ground. And it is not because we are cruel. It is because we are tired. We are tired of being emotionally bled dry by celebrities who cry wolf for the algorithm. Ray told us he was dying. We mourned him in advance. We held that grief in our chest like it was our own uncle on dialysis. And then he turned around and used that grief as a pre-fight promotional tour. That is not a stunt. That is theft. Emotional theft. He stole something real from us, the empathy, the prayers, the late-night worried texts to our group chats, and he traded it for pay-per-view buys. That is the receipt. That is the actual receipt. And the internet, for all its faults, eventually figures out when it has been pickpocketed. And once it figures it out, it does not forgive. It clowns. And it clowns hard. It clowns generationally. Now here is my unique angle. Here is what nobody else on this platform is telling you. Every single story we just walked through, every one of them is a symptom of the same disease. We are living in the clown economy. And in the clown economy, dignity is not something you protect. Dignity is something you spend. Lana spent a little dignity to be in the baby mama lineup. Young Miami spent a little dignity to sell a fairy tale dinner price tag. Amanda Seales spent a whole lot of dignity defending the indefensible, and then yelling at the people who pointed it out. Cardi B spent a sliver of dignity by reminding us that trophies, in this era, are awarded by buzz, not by bars. And Ray J, sweet Ray J, took out a second mortgage on his dignity, leveraged the rest, and walked it into a boxing ring on a Saturday night. 5 different price points, 5 different transactions, 1 identical currency, and the buyer in every single case was you, was me, was the timeline. We are the ones holding the credit card. Every click is a withdrawal. Every share is a transfer. Every comment is a tip. And the celebrities, bless them, are the cashiers at the dignity store, scanning their own self-respect across the barcode reader and asking us paper or plastic. That is the angle. That is the thread. That is the diagnosis nobody else on YouTube has been brave enough to type out loud. And I am typing it out loud on the record with my whole chest in front of God and the algorithm. So what do we do with this information? Do we cancel them? No. We are not in the cancellation business over here. We are in the recognition business. We recognize the play. We name the play. And we decide individually whether we are going to keep buying tickets to it. Because the moment we stop tipping the cashier, the dignity store goes out of business. The moment we stop pretending $2.3 million dates are normal, young Miami goes back to making music. The moment we stop debating fake doctorates for 2 news cycles, Amanda Seales goes back to acting, which is the thing she is actually great at. The moment we stop letting Ray J leverage his own funeral as a marketing budget, Ray J goes back to making love songs. Everybody wins. The audience reclaims its empathy. The artists reclaim their craft. And the algorithm, for the first time in its miserable little life, has to learn to feed on something other than our collective embarrassment. Listen, let me know in the comments. Which one of these stories hit you the hardest? Was it Lana's baby mama brunch? Was it Young Miami's 7-figure dinner? Was it Amanda Seales dragging Maya Angelou into a debate that did not belong to her? Was it Cardi sweeping the AMAs on volume more than vocals? Or was it Ray J, my dear sweet Ray J, lying about his expiration date and then getting cartoon lumped on pay-per-view? Drop the number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 in the comments. I am reading every single one of them tonight. I am responding to as many as I can. And if this video taught you something, if it made you laugh, if it made you nod, if it made you scream at your screen at any point in the last however many minutes you have been here with me, hit the like button. Smash it. Press it like it owes you $2.3 million. Subscribe if you are new here. Tap that little bell because that little bell is the only thing standing between you and missing the next expose. And share this video with the one friend in your group chat who still thinks all of this is just gossip. Because it is not just gossip. It never was. It is a mirror. And the people on screen are not the only ones being reflected. That is the sauce. That is the whole jar. That is your source for celebrity news. Your source for the patterns nobody else on this platform is brave enough to point at out loud. I love y'all for tuning in. I love y'all for sticking with me all the way to the end. And I will see y'all in the next one. Peace, love, and please, for the love of God, do not let anybody scan your dignity at the register. Bye.